Dear students, how are you? Hope you are well and you have started your study after the vacation. I think I do not need to introduce myself today. Today, I shall discuss an important grammar item with you, which you will be required for answering various types of questions from your English first paper as well as second paper. In my previous class, you have learned phrases and types of phrases, and today I shall discuss clause, types, and examples. As I said earlier, this is an important grammar item. Let me show you how this grammar item is urgent for you. Firstly, you have transformation of sentences in your English second paper syllabus. And to learn the transformations of simple, complex, and compound sentences, you need to learn clauses well. Secondly, your English second paper also contains a question item that is completing sentence with phrases and clauses. To answer the questions well, you will be required to have the knowledge of clauses. Thirdly, while learning clauses, you will learn sentence connectors and conjunctions. You will have a question item in your examination related with the use of sentence connectors. And fourthly, you need to study clauses to develop your writing skills. You know, you will have questions carrying around 40 to 50% marks on English writing in both English first paper and second paper. Finally, while learning conjunctions, you will also get some ideas related to punctuations. Hope you understand the importance of learning or studying clauses and its types and examples. Before starting our today's discussion about clauses, let's have a glance at the items that I'd like to explain today. Today I shall discuss conjunction, types of conjunctions, sentence, types of sentences according to construction, and clauses, and finally types of clauses and examples. First of all, let's learn what is conjunction. A conjunction is a word used to connect words, clauses, or sentences. Look at the examples. Lisa and Ria are friends. I arrived on time though the traffic was bad. In the first sentence, the conjunction and is used to connect two words, Lisa and Ria. In the second sentence, the conjunction though is used to connect two clauses. The clauses are I arrived on time and the traffic was bad. Then types of conjunctions. Conjunctions are of three types: coordinating, subordinating, and correlative conjunctions. And then there are some adverbs that act as conjunctions as well, such as also, however, still, therefore, instead, accordingly, etc. These are called conjunctive adverbs. Now I shall briefly discuss each type of conjunctions along with a few example sentences. First type of conjunction is coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions are and, but, or, nor, for, yet, and so. They are used to join two grammatically similar elements such as nouns, verbs, modifiers, or independent clauses. That means they can be used in simple sentences as well as compound sentences. Look at the example sentence. Here you can see a list of coordinating conjunctions, how they are used in a sentence, and a few example sentences. I'm not going to explain the list in detail as our today's lecture is mainly about clauses. I advise you to pause the video, take some time, and try to understand the use of coordinating conjunctions in sentences. Then, subordinating conjunctions. A subordinating conjunction is a type of conjunction that is used to connect a dependent clause with an independent clause. That means they are used in complex sentences. Look at the example sentences. As shown in the sentences, subordinating conjunctions can be at the beginning of a sentence with a comma in the middle separating the clauses, or in the middle of a sentence with no comma. Here, I have presented a list of subordinating conjunctions alphabetically. I suggest you to pause the video and have a glance at the list. The subordinating conjunctions can also be classified in the following manner according to their use in sentences, such as subordinating conjunctions of time, condition, contrast, reason, purpose, place, and manner. Next, correlative conjunctions. These conjunctions connect two independent clauses, phrases, or words, so they can be found in compound sentences as well as simple sentences. Actually, a correlative conjunction is a coordinating conjunction. These are the commonly used correlative conjunctions. Look at the example sentences as well. In the first sentence, the coordinating conjunction connect two words. In the second sentence, two phrases, and in the third sentence, two clauses. Finally, conjunctive adverbs. There are some adverbs that can be used as conjunctions to join two clauses, sentences, or paragraphs. These adverbs are called conjunctive adverbs. They are similar to subordinating conjunctions. Look at the commonly used conjunctive adverbs. Next, look at the example sentences. Here, however, otherwise, still, and accordingly are conjunctive adverbs. Notice the use of punctuation. When conjunctive adverb after the main clause, it is followed by a semicolon, and after that a comma is used. However, conjunctive adverb at the beginning of a sentence, there will be a comma only after the conjunctive adverb. Remember, when conjunctive adverbs function as a simple adverb to modify a verb, adjective, or another adverb, they do not need any punctuation. Look at the last example sentence. There is no comma after the conjunctive adverb. Dear students, now I shall discuss types of sentences with you. You all know, according to sentence construction, they are of three types: simple sentence, complex sentence, and compound sentence. A simple sentence contains a subject and a verb, and it may also have an object and modifiers. A complex sentence is made up of an independent clause and one or more dependent clauses connected to it. Look at the example sentences. In the first sentence, I met my friend is the principal clause, and who helped me a lot is the subordinate clause. Similarly, in the second sentence, he does not like the people is the principal clause and who smoke is the subordinate clause. A compound sentence refers to a sentence made up of two independent clauses or complete sentences connected to one another with a coordinating conjunction. For example, he gets up early in the morning and goes out for a walk. In this sentence, he gets up early in the morning is a coordinate clause and goes out for a walk is another coordinate clause. Now I shall discuss clause and types of clauses. First, what is a clause? A clause can be a word or a group of words. A clause functions as a member of a complex and compound sentence. That means we find clauses only in complex and compound sentences. Finally, a clause contains a subject and a verb, especially finite verb. There will be no subject. There can be no subject in a clause, but a finite verb is required to be in a clause. Next, type of clauses. There are three types of clauses: principal clause or main clause or independent clause, and subordinate clause or dependent clause, and the last is coordinate clause. The first two types of clauses are found in complex sentence, and coordinate clause is used in compound sentences. Next, principal clause and subordinate clause. Principal clause is the main part of a sentence, as it contains the subject as well as the finite verb and the object. It can make complete sense itself. It does not have to depend upon any other clauses. Principal clause, main clause or independent clause is that clause which expresses a complete meaning. It alone can stand as a sentence. And a subordinate clause or dependent clause is that clause which alone cannot express a complete meaning. It alone cannot stand as a sentence because it depends on the other clause or the principal clause to give a complete meaning. It serves a subordinate role in a sentence. Look at the example sentences. I met a friend who helped me a lot. He does not like the people who smoke. In the first sentence, I met a friend is the principal clause and who helped me a lot is the subordinate clause. In the second sentence, he does not like the people is the principal clause and who smoke is the subordinate clause. Now, coordinate clause. A coordinate clause is each of two or more parts of a sentence, often joined by and, or, but, etc., that make separate statements that each have an equal importance. Look at the example sentences. In the first sentence, he gets up early in the morning and goes out for a walk are two coordinate clauses. Now, types of subordinate clauses. A subordinate clause can act as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb in a sentence. There are three types of subordinate clauses depending upon its function in a sentence. They are noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. First, noun clause. A subordinate clause which acts as a noun in a sentence is called a noun clause. Like a noun phrase, a noun clause functions as a subject complement, a direct object, an appositive, etc. Now I shall show you the two basic functions of a noun clause. You will learn the other functions on your own. Noun clause can be subject of a sentence. In the sentence, whatever we study increases our knowledge. Whatever we study functions as the subject of a sentence, so it is a noun clause. Then, noun clause can be direct object of a sentence. For example, in the sentence, do you know when the train arrives? When the train arrives functions as object of the verb, so it is also a noun clause. Next, adjective clause. An adjective clause is a subordinate clause which acts as an adjective in a sentence. Like an adjective, it modifies a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. An adjective clause mostly starts with relative pronoun that are that, who, whom, whose, which, or whose. Look at the example sentences. In the first sentence, I saw a child that was crying. The subordinate clause is that was crying, and that was crying indicates or modifies the noun child, so it is an adjective clause. Finally, adverb clause. A subordinate clause which acts as an adverb in a sentence is called an adverb clause. Like an adverb, it modifies a verb, an adjective clause, or another adverb clause in a sentence. It modifies adverb or the action of the main clause in terms of time, frequency, condition, cause and effect, and intensity. For example, in the first sentence, call me when you need my help. The subordinate clause, when you need my help, indicates the time of the action, thus functions as an adverb. So it is an adverb clause. With this, I would like to end my today's class. Dear students, thank you very much for your patience. Stay home but do not waste your time. Thank you very much.